Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this waist fitted palazzo jumpsuit that you can see on your screen. So I already have my pattern paper and I've gone ahead to roll out my points. This jumpsuit does not have any half length, so I'll quickly run you guys through all the points that I have on my paper. So from the center, I went inward by 3 inches and I rolled a straight line all the way to the length of my jumpsuit. Okay, and I have my points. The first line I have there is my chest line. The second line is my bust line. The third line is my waistline. And the fourth line is my hip line. Okay, so the distance from my shoulder to my chest line is about 9 inches. I indicated the 9 inches and I went ahead to roll a straight line across. The next point is distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 11 inches. I also indicated the 11 inches and I went ahead to roll a straight line across. The next point is distance from my shoulder to my waist point. So my actual waist point is 16 inches, but I made it 17 inches because it's a jumpsuit. And the last point there is distance from my shoulder to my hip point, which is 24 inches. So the next thing I'll do now is to take half of my shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. I indicated the 8 inches with a dot. On that dot, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm slanting from there into the neckline area. The next thing I'll do is to take the same 8 inches that I have on the shoulder line. I'll take it on my chest line and I'll connect from the shoulder slope to meet the point on the chest line in a straight line. Okay, after doing that, I'll go ahead and place my neckline. Okay, so for the neck width, I'll be using 3.5 inches. For the depth, that of the back, I'll be using 2 inches. After doing that, I'll connect the two like this. So as you can see on the thumbnail, the front neckline is a V neckline. So we'll be taking the back neckline first. The next thing I'll do now is to mark the length of my sleeves. Okay, so this jumpsuit has a cut together sleeves, meaning we're not going to cut out another different sleeves. Okay, so for my neck width, right, for my neck width, I went in by 21 inches, which is how long my sleeves is going to be. On that 21 inches mark, I went down by 2 inches, okay, for my shoulder slope. Okay. I know we took our shoulder slope earlier, but since we are cutting the sleeves with our jumpsuit and we've already taken the length of the sleeves, so we have to drop the shoulder, okay, and I did that by 2 inches, okay. So I connected it back to the neck width. After doing that, guys, I placed my tape on this straight line and I divided what I had into 2 equal halves. What I have was 8 inches. Half of 8 inches is 4 inches. I indicated the 4 inches on that center, on that 4 inches point. And at the middle, I came inward by half an inch and I'm using my ruler to connect from the shoulder slope to the half an inch and from there to make the chest line. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to determine my sleeves opening. So from the shoulder slope, I went down by about 9 inches. Okay, so it depends on how open you want the sleeves area to be, but I want to be very comfortable, so I just connected, okay, in a slant. As you can see, it is not straight, the line is not straight. I just slanted it to the 9 inches. Okay, the next thing I'll do now is to start placing my measurements. So I'm not going to place my bust measurement because the upper part of this jumpsuit is not fitted. Okay, so we'll start from the waistline. I went ahead to place my waist circumference divided by 4. I added extra 8 inches to that measurement. Okay, so after doing that, go ahead and add your stitching allowance. I'll add my stitching allowance when I'm cutting on my fabric. So what I'm doing now is connecting from my sleeves opening to the mark that I have on the waistline. Okay, so place your waist circumference, your exact waist circumference divided by 4, and then add 8 inches, and then you can add half an inch for your stitching allowance or 1 inch. Okay, So on the hip line, I'll place my hip circumference divided by 4. I'm also going to add the 8 inches that I added on the waistline. I'll add on the hip line. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to connect from the waistline to meet the hip line like this. After doing that, guys, I'll go ahead and blend this sharp edge that I have here, okay, because I don't want it. So guys, next thing I'll do now is to mark my crotch line. Okay, so normally my crotch line is 12 inches for my palazzo pants, but this is a free jumpsuit, so what I'll do is to add 2 extra inches to my usual crotch line. Okay, so I'll place my tape on my waistline and I'll go down. Instead of going down by 12 inches, which is my actual crotch line, I'll go down by 14 inches, meaning I've added extra 2 inches to my crotch line. Okay, so as you can see me, I'm connecting from the waist. So you're marking from your waist. From your waist, you're going to go down, okay, by your crotch line, and you're going to roll a straight line across. After doing that, I'll label this line my crotch line. I'm sure you guys know how to take your crotch line. In case you don't know how to, I'm going to leave a video on the screen on how I take mine, okay, and there are several ways to take your crotch line. Okay, so after doing that, I extended the crotch line into the 3 inches. You know, we didn't take any measurement on that 3 inches because it's going to serve as our crotch extension line. So on this crotch extension line, I'm going out by 2.5 inches. So it depends on how big you are, but I'm taking 2.5 inches. You can do like 3 inches. Okay, so from the crotch line, I went up by 2 inches. So I'll connect from that 2 inches to meet the 2.5 inches that I extended the crotch line with, as you can see. Okay, after doing that, I'll just blend it, and then I'm going to connect all the way down to the length of my pattern paper. Okay, and from the hip line, I'm just going to connect straight down to the length of my pattern paper. Okay, so the length of my jumpsuit is about 55 inches. The length of my pattern paper is 50 inches. So when I'm cutting on my fabric, I'm going to extend it. Okay, so after doing that, guys, next thing I'll do is to mark my front neckline, which is a V neckline. So I'm going down by 7 inches, and I'll slant from the 7 inches to meet my neck width like this. Okay, so after doing that, guys, this is what I have. So I have the back neckline and the front neckline. So I'll go ahead and cut. So pay close attention so you know where to cut. So I'll first of all cut out the sides. You can see I'm just cutting out everything that I marked. And for the neckline, I'll cut out the back neckline first. After using it to cut on my fabric, then I'll cut the front neckline out. Okay, so this is what I have, and I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2 to cut out the back. Okay, and I left allowance on the fabric on this crotch area because I want to extend the crotch for the back, because the crotch for the back and that of the front is not supposed to be the same. So I took 2.5 inches for the front as my crotch extension. I'll still mark the same 2.5 as the crotch extension for the back. So I marked it, and you can see me connecting it back to the hip line. Okay, so it's that easy. Next thing I'll do is to mark my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches because the back of this jumpsuit has a zipper. Okay, so I'm marking 1.5 inches all the way down. After doing that, I'll figure out where I want my zipper to stop. I want it to stop at 21 inches. So you can see me marking the 21 inches, sorry. That is how long my zipper is going to be. So I indicated the 21 inches. What I'll do is connect my zipper allowance on a straight line to meet the 21 inches. After doing that, on this crotch line, I'm adding half an inch, which is going to be my stitching allowance. I'll add the half an inch into the crotch extension line. Okay, so what I have on the crotch extension line is 2.5 inches. So I'm reducing it by half an inch and I'm placing it on the leg of the jumpsuit. Okay, so I'll just connect it all the way to the length of my jumpsuit. So I'm cutting on this half inch now. As you can see, I'll cut into the zipper allowance area. Okay, I'll also cut out the side of the jumpsuit. So like I mentioned earlier, I did not have stitching allowance on the pattern paper, so I'm just going to add half an inch allowance all the way around this fabric. Okay, so just pay close attention. We are done with the back. Okay, all I did was to add my zipper allowance. I added half an inch to the crotch area for stitching allowance, and then on the sides also I'll add half an inch. On the shoulder I'll also add half an inch, and I'll cut all the way down. So guys, as you can see, I added about 7 inches to the base of my jumpsuit, 5 inches to complete the length and 2 inches to hem the base. Okay, so what I'm doing now is notching the waist area. Before you remove your pattern paper, go ahead and notch the waist of your jumpsuit on both sides. Okay, mark it and then notch it. Is very important. The next thing I'll do now is to cut out facing. Okay, so I'm going to place my facing underneath my fabric, and I'm just going to trace out the same thing that I have there. If you don't have enough fabric for facing, all you are going to do is to pipe your neckline. Okay, so I'm going to place my facing right side on the main fabric. I'll pin and then I'll go ahead and sew. After doing that, I'll fix my zipper, also the crotch area, and I'll fix my zipper to the back. So for the front, guys, I went ahead to fold my fabric into two also, and then I added half an inch all the way around, including the shoulder area. I also added my 7 inches to complete the length of my jumpsuit and to hem the base of my jumpsuit. So the only difference here is the neckline. Okay, so I'm going to trim off this V neckline. So that's the only difference between the front and the back. I'll also go ahead and cut out my facing just like I did for the back. Okay, I'll place my fabric underneath. The center is on fold, and then I'm going to trim off the sides. Okay, so I'll also go ahead and notch the waist area of the front. Go ahead and notch, is very important. So what I'll do first of all is to sew from the center all the way to the crotch line. After doing that, I'll now fix my facing. But if you don't have enough fabric, you can pipe your neckline. So I'm gonna to use my facing to sew the neckline close. Okay, I joined the center first before sewing the facing, and I sewed the center down to the crotch line. So the next thing we are going to do is to pleat the waistline. As you can see, I've already gone ahead to pleat the waistline for the back. I've fixed my zipper, and I've used my facing to finish up my neckline. So this is what we have for the back, and that is what we are going to achieve for the front. So I'll go ahead and confirm my waistline after taking in my pleat. Remember, we added extra 8 inches. The 8 inches is what we'll use to sew our pleat in place. So I've done the same thing for one side of the front. I'm going to use the second side to illustrate everything that I did. So this is really important, so pay close attention. So the part of the waistline that I notched, I went ahead to just iron it to know exactly where it is. Okay, it will make it easier. Okay, so first thing first is to mark from my center joining. I'll mark out 2 inches. Okay, so I'm marking 2 inches. I'll indicate it on that center line. Okay, what I'll do is to now go up from this center line by 3 inches. I'll also indicate the 3 inches, and I'll come down by another 3 inches. Okay, because I want the length of my dart to be 6 inches. 3 at the up, 3 at the down makes it 6 inches. So what I'll do now, as you can see, I'm confirming that I have 6 inches. After doing that, I'll connect into a straight line like this. Okay, so this is going to be the distance from one dart to the other one. The distance is going to be 2 inches. So the next thing I'll do now is to take my dart. So I want my dart to be 3 inches. So from that 2 inches mark, I'm going to come out again by 3 inches. On that 3 inches mark, I'll go down by 3 inches, and I'll go up by 3 inches. Okay, so the 6 inches is the length of my dart. Okay, so make sure you confirm that the lines are correct. So what I'll do now is to connect into a straight line like this. So we have the first dart. Okay, the distance between this line is 3 inches. Look at the way I'm going to connect my dart together. I'll make sure that the straight lines align. Okay, I'll go ahead and pin it down. Okay, so this is exactly what I did for the back. Okay, the next thing is to take the next dart. Remember, we added extra 8 inches. We have taken 3 inches. Okay, So we are going to take another 3 inches. So I'll mark the distance between one dart to the other one, which is 2 inches. I'll indicate the 2 inches. On that 2 inches, I'll go down by 3 inches and I'll go up by 3 inches. After doing that, I'll connect into a straight line. Okay, so after connecting into a straight line, the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark the wideness of my darts, which is 3 inches. I hope you guys are following. I'll go out by 3 inches. I'll mark it on the center. I'll go down by 3 inches and I'll go up by another 3 inches and I'll connect into a straight line. So we have our second dart. Okay, so we took 3 inches before and we have taken another 3 inches. That is 6 inches. So we are left with 2 inches because I added 8 inches. So what I'll do now is to take the darts like this, as you can see me doing. I'll make sure that the straight lines are aligned. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and pin it down. So for the third dart, we are left with 2 inches. So what I'll do now is to take the distance from one dart to the other one, like we have been doing, which is 2 inches. Okay, I'll mark the 2 inches on this center line. I'll go down by 3 inches and I'll go up by 3 inches and I'll connect into a straight line. So we have been taking 3 inches for we took 3 inches for this previous 2 darts, but since we are left with 2 inches, we are going to take 2 inches for this last dart. So maybe instead of adding 8 inches, you can make it 9 inches so that you take 3 darts. Okay, so what I'll do now is to go out from this line by 2 inches this time to complete the 8 inches. Okay, so I'll mark 2 inches. On that 2 inches mark, I'll go up by 3 inches and I'll come down by 3 inches. I hope you guys understand. In case you don't understand, you can always rewatch. Okay, so I'll connect into a straight line and I'll take in my 2 inches. That's okay. So what I have left on this waistline is my stitching allowance. Okay, so I'll pick it and I'll connect the 2 straight lines like this to form my third dart. I'll use my pin to just hold it down like this. Okay, after doing that, guys, this is what I have. Okay, so what I'll do now is to cut out my pocket before we head over to the sewing machine to sew. So I've gone ahead to cut out 4 pieces of this pocket. Okay, and I'm going to place them right sides facing right side. I do this a lot on the channel, so in case you don't know how to cut out your pocket, I'm going to leave a link. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just connect, but this is not hard. I just wanted to spread my hands on my fabric and I just traced it out. Okay, so I'll connect them right sides facing right side and I'm placing the pocket on that notch that I have on the waistline. Okay, the pocket is starting from that notch. Okay, I'll pin also to the front. So guys, what I'll do now is to just sew on the straight line. That is how to take in your dart, but make sure you don't exceed your 6 inches line. And make sure what you are sewing here is the same thing at the back. You are sewing on both lines. Okay, so as you can see me doing, I'm sewing on a straight line down to that 6 inches. So once I get to the 6 inches, I'll stop sewing. I'm confirming that the line that I have on the front and that of the back is the same. Okay, so my stitch is also sitting on this blue line that I have, okay, on the back. So I'll proceed to sew in the second dart. Okay, so all you have to do is to sew on a straight line and make sure you are sewing on where you marked. Okay, do not exceed the 6 inches. I've sewn the second one. I'll also go ahead and sew the third one. Okay, so I'm sewing from up to down. Okay, I'll make sure I'm sewing the same thing at the back of my fabric. Okay, so after sewing, guys, I'll go ahead and also stitch my pockets in place. So I'm done stitching and this is what I have. So the same thing that you do for this side, go ahead and do it for the other side. Okay, do it for the front, do it for the back. So we have at least 6 darts on the front and 6 darts at the back. After sewing, confirm your measurement. Okay, your waist measurement, if you have your exact measurement, and your stitching allowance, which is exactly what I have. Okay, so make sure you take your measurements correctly. Okay, so the next thing I'll do now is to fix my pocket. So I've also gone ahead to fix to pin this pocket to the back also. So I'm sewing the pocket to the front. As you can see, I repeat the same thing for the other side. After doing that, guys, I'll go ahead and pin both front and back together. Okay, I'll pin them together, and I've done that, so I'm joining the shoulders. Okay, so go ahead and join the shoulders. Okay, after doing that, guys, I'm going to hem the sleeves opening. So if you don't want to hem, you can use your bias to just iron it flat. Okay, so remember I left my half an inch for stitching allowance on the shoulder area. That is what I'm using to join my shoulders in place. I've also gone ahead to hem my sleeves opening. So the next thing I'll do now is to close this jumpsuit. Okay, so I'm sewing from the sleeves area all the way to the pocket. Okay, you can see me closing my pocket. Okay, I'll sew down to the base of my jumpsuit. Okay, after doing that, I'll also sew the crotch area, and then I'm going to hem the base of my jumpsuit. Okay, and yeah guys, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. In case you don't understand anything, in case you are confused anywhere, you can go ahead and ask me in the comment section. Okay, so don't forget to like this video, is very important. Subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.